So, all right. So I figure we'll start. You guys all have the forms, and and we will kind of pause it for when you guys are done, so Judy can notarize them and get on her merry way. So I know it's been a long day for you too, Judy. So, but anyway, so. All right, so that's one of the most important things. Obviously, we need that. And another form that I will send you guys closer to is there is a COVID-like symptom screener thing, and that cannot be filled out until within 24 hours of the camp. So I'll send it to you probably right after you get back from Fuge, but you know, there's no benefit in filling it out in advance because it becomes irrelevant if it's done more than 24 hours in advance. So, but yeah, make sure you get a copy of that, and we also need a copy of the driver's license. So, we can get that for you. Judy doesn't need to be here for that, but at the end, if you want, I can help you make copies of that as well. So, signature forms are pretty straightforward. If you have any questions as you're doing forms, you can stop me, and I'm happy to help out with it. So, you know, it's pretty straightforward. I mean, the camp takes care of so much of the stuff, but I'll go through the information you guys need most. Also, I will also email you guys. There's some parent devotions that are going to come out that they release. I think they just put them up, but I'll email them to you when I give you that 24-hour thing. So, hey, Laura. So, I got the forms for you. So, there's 3 of them going, right?
Yes.
3. So, and Ken actually, one of you girls want to hand out one of these for everybody? So, actually, there needs to be one for each kid going. So, if any family has a couple of kids going, make sure they get a couple. So, I think Laura needs 3. So, do you mind handing those out at all? Awesome, thank you. So, all right, so this is going to be the track form. So normally, you guys, in this meeting, there's a form from CentriKid where you guys get a list of all the tracks, and you pick out all the tracks according to what's your favorite, and then you give it to me today. That's normally what they've always done. The Fuge and CentriKid are doing things differently this year after COVID. I called Skycroft to figure out why we didn't have that this year, and they don't even know. So they're trying to call CentriKid this week, and hopefully I'll find an answer. If there is another form where you have to rank your kids' choices, then I will get that to you as quickly as possible. I may work around, and I'm giving this to you guys, and I think I will have you guys just go ahead and put your top three choices, put your child's name on the top of the form, and put your 3 choices there. That way, if worse comes to worse, and they insist upon. One thing I was actually on a Facebook group of church leaders taking this CentriKid. Apparently at least 2 church groups have already done it, and they said that they're just requiring them to do it in the moment. Well, if we have to do it in the moment, we're prepared so that your kid can have what they want if you sign up and kind of rank order things, if that makes sense. And we'll go through all of those camps, all of those track times in a minute. But important time and date is obviously drop off and pick up. So normally this is a Monday through Friday camp. This year is another switch. They made it at a 4-day camp. We're really untraditional with our camps this year because both Fuge and CentriKid are normally 5 days, and our Fuge is 6 days and our CentriKid is 4 days. So, but that's just a choice. That's based upon the location. The location does it 4 days now at Skycroft. I think they do weekend camps now at Skycroft, so they have to get us out of there by Thursday. So, drop off is at 1 p.m. on Monday, and so make sure that they have. Wait, here's the form. So Judy can notarize that and everything when you're done. So yeah. Drop off is at 1 p.m. on Monday. That make sure they had lunch, and so they're nice and fed. We will get them in all likelihood, we will treat them to ice cream once we get to Skycroft at the Hebrews Cafe. That's typically a tradition that we've done, but you never know if we encounter a hiccup with check-in. I don't want your child dependent upon ice cream. I'd rather them come prepared having eaten lunch. So 1 p.m. for that. And then pickup is at Thursday, as on Thursday at 11:30 a.m. So again, they will not have lunch then. You'll have to get them lunch right after you pick them up. So so it's just under 4 days. So it's like an hour, hour and a half under 2 days. Under 4 days rather. I don't know how many hours total that would be, but an hour and a half under 4 days technically. So, and in terms of those driving, by the way, so you guys know, we're renting some vehicles, but I will be driving from the church. Bev Lacey will likely be, Bev Lacey is one of the chaperones, and she will be going from, she lives in West Virginia, and so she'll be taking her granddaughter there and meeting us there. And then Heather Steiner will be driving as well, and then I talked to you about that, I believe, correct?
Well, I don't remember,
okay.
But I cannot drive what I have now. You know that situation,
yeah,
but hopefully that's going to be resolved.
I thought I talked to you about I'm renting a van.
No,
so you don't even have to worry about it. So,
okay.
Yeah. So, and we'll touch base more on that. But
okay.
And then also because even that would leave not enough room because we got a pretty big group actually this year. Not everybody's here, of course. But then we are also having one of the families that is going to the streets. Christie Street's going to be driving some of the kids. Even she's not going to be a chaperone, but just because we can't teleport children, and we have one of our chaperones that will be driving it from out of state. So that's how we're going to be getting there and coming back and everything. So then COVID and mask rules. I want to make you guys aware of. So this has been, as of almost everything we've done for the summer, it changes every time we have any kind of. So as of now, Skycroft has no mask policies. Skycroft is so that there's no requirement that they wear a mask. The only real COVID policies are if they are close contacts with somebody with COVID, or if they show 2 or more COVID symptoms, then they have to isolate until they can get a negative COVID test. Now Lifeway Camps is allowing them to do the rapid tests, so they wouldn't have to completely miss out. Realistically, with an hour away, if we get to Wednesday and they're going to isolate your kid for 24 hours, it'd probably be easier for you to pick them up anyway. But my guess is this won't happen much. I mean, I know the COVID case rate is 1 in 100,000 right now, which is crazy. I mean, praise the Lord for that. So, but just be aware of that. So you'll need to let us know. And again, that will be on the form that you'll have. You'll need to note if they're close contact with somebody with COVID. But even if they're at the camp, say they're at the camp and they have been hanging out with like a cousin right before the camp, and then you find out on Tuesday that the cousin has COVID, you would need to let us know, and we would have to abide by the COVID rules. Again, my heavy guess is that's not going to happen. I think even 0.4% of tests are coming back positive now, so that's really good. So then what to bring, this is important to note. So they'll need to bring towels, closed-toe shoes. Closed-toe shoes are extremely important. I know there's been times in the past where kids have come with flip-flops, but it's extremely important to bring closed-toe shoes. Refillable water bottles, that plastic, whatever they want to bring that they can refill. Physical Bibles is important. I know that even at that age, I know a lot of them sometimes use the smartphones. But we really want to bring a physical Bible. I'll bring a couple extras. I always do. So, and they ask for a notepad and pen. They always ask for these in the camp, but they always also provide notepad and pens at the camp. But yet they insist upon telling you to bring a notepad and pen. So bring a notepad and pen. Probably they won't need it because they'll give it to them, but whatever. So toiletries are extremely important. Obviously, they're not going to provide toiletries. Sunscreen, tons of sunscreen, plenty of sunscreen, because they'll be outside a good bit. Linens they don't provide linens there at Skycroft. They just have kind of plain bed mattresses. And so, I know we've had some kids that have brought just sleeping bags and put sleeping bags on top of that. That's fine. Whatever you're comfortable. Yes.
Are you able to email this list? Because
I did. I think I emailed that content before, but I'll email it again. So okay, that's fine. And again, I will send everybody this video as well to watch.
Just because I'm signing this right now.
Yeah, no problem. So, all right, and then Pillow as well. They don't provide pillows as well. I mean, again, it's just like a bare mattress there, which is probably good for the sake of bugs and everything. You know, you don't get a lot of that way. So,
Don't have pillows?
you'll have to send them with a pillow. So, yeah, they don't provide pillows. They don't. It's very. I mean, there's a mattress, so that's something. So, if you don't bring your own mattress, which is good. So, then some spending money is important. Again, if you guys have ever been to raise your hand if you've never been to Skycroft. I think most people have been to Skycroft. Okay.
It was 20 plus
Okay.
years ago though.
Yeah. So so Skycroft is great. They have this cafe, Hebrews coffee shop, and it's not just like coffee. It's like they sell candy and ice cream. It's like they sell at crazy low prices for that kind of thing. And I'm sure they're not really making any profit, but you know, the kids like to have some spending money to go there, get that, and they can even get, you know, some, you know, they might be able to get a t-shirt if they have enough and stuff like that. But I encourage you to bring some spending money. And if you guys would like, I'm willing to have one of the chaperones. Obviously, if it's a girl, I'll have one of the female chaperones keep it. But I'm fine with. We've had some times where adults have kept the money of the kids rather than the kids carrying their own money. I know some kids. You know, I suspect my kids would do this. You know, where they spend all the money the first day. And I think last time we went there, the last time we went there, I had somebody that had a certain amount of money I give them every single day, and that's fine. I'm happy to do that. You just need to organize that with me. You know, otherwise the kid will have his money and will spend it how they see fit. So they can learn some economics, I guess, though. But then they also obviously should bring a mask. Again, so far there's no requirement for it, but just in light of the fact that even they're encouraging, you know, be prepared if things were to change. You know, I think it's always wise. We'll bring some disposable masks, but you know, I would encourage you guys to send them the mask. Chances are they will not have to use it at all that week. Although I do want to say with the mask stuff, if you prefer your child wearing a mask the whole week, let me know and I can enforce that for you. I fully respect and understand that position. But that's your guys' decision. I'm not going to enforce it beyond what the government says, if not, unless you specify otherwise. So, and then the last thing to bring, and I'll let you guys have any questions about frame stuff next, is so wacky clothes. There's going to be part of the mega relay, actually I'm sorry, not mega relay, part of late at night, kind of the last thing at night, at the end of the night, there's going to be a time where they can kind of just dance out with a band and stuff like that, and they are asking kids to bring wacky clothes for one of the nights. So an example of that they gave is like, you know, the glasses with the mustache thing, you know, that they sell at like novelty stores. That kind of thing, or you know, something silly, some kind of silly shirt or something like that. Obviously, any of the clothing will need to follow our modesty policies, which I don't think, given the group that's coming, there's really much worries about that. So I won't even really specify much of that. You know, it's really the same stuff I've gone through from Mega Day Camp and Fuge. You know, no spaghetti straps, even at that age. You know, that finger length, that shorts and everything like that. But again, I don't anticipate, given the group that we have coming, that that's going to be any issue. So, question, go ahead.
You may have said it at the beginning, but this is the first time I've been to this camp.
Yeah.
And I heard you say that when they get there, they'll choose their activities.
Yeah, I'll get to that in a minute. So,
Well, my question
yeah.
has to do with the clothing because
her
clothing's going to depend on what activity she's doing. Like,
yeah, absolutely. That's
gonna be
fine.
hot.
So,
You know, like shorts and t-shirts and stuff like that.
a lot of them overlap in similarity.
Right? Stuff
Yeah.
can get dirty.
right.
And they can't, I will say when we pick tracks, usually we've had luck with Skycroft. We try to get there early enough that that even if you fill out the forms, they don't even set you up in your camps until you get there to actually register. So in person, and we've always planned on, and this year we will be one of the first groups to get there. And so the chances that she gets her first choices is extremely high.
And is it one track for the week?
There's 2 tracks of the week. So,
Okay.
but yeah, so they'll get 2 tracks. When you look at, we'll go ahead and go into that. Is there any extra ones of these? Because I wanted to point out some of these. Okay, like this, that's fine. Okay, so the tracks, yeah. So these are not for the entirety of the week. That these are just kind of a few hours throughout the day, every day. And so they pick 2 tracks, and but I would encourage you to rank more than 2 tracks. So rank your top 4 on here for your child, and that way, you know, if something is filled up. We did have something filled up last time. I don't know how, but I think archery had been filled up before anybody won it. But not every camp has the same tracks. Again, we should have gotten something specifically for our camp, but I know from the past at Skycroft, they have everything with the exception of the site-specific ones that they note, but with the exception of the Timber Creek ones. So they have Adventure and Blast, and I'm going to explain those because those are the most vague ones, because, you know, archery, I assume you guys know what archery is, so.
Should we just cross off Timber Creek? That's not us?
Yeah, ignore
Okay.
the Timber Creek stuff. But Adventure and Blast are entirely camp-based. So they're just taking advantage of the different amenities that the different camps have. And some of the other camps do as well. If you notice that there are like some, there's pool-based ones as well. Those are going to take advantage of like they actually have a pool there. Not every camp has, like Wet and Wild. If we went to a camp that didn't have a pool, they would set up slip and slides and stuff like that, but exclusively. But the 2 ones, Adventure and Blast, are going to be taking advantage of some of the things that amenities. So they have a zip line there, if you remember, and which is really cool. And it costs money otherwise. That Adventure will give you the zip line. I know that for a fact. And Blast will give you mostly the water-based stuff. And both Adventure and Blast are going to give you the water slide as well, and they'd be able to do that during their track time. Now the water slide, they open it up like there's free time, and so they can use it in free time even if they don't pick that track. So even if they pick a different track, it's not the end of the world. You can still use the water slide, which is pretty awesome. It's similar to how Craig's done his. It's that kind of style, but it's like on steroids. So it's like that time. Like Craig's thing is awesome, but it's like that times 10. So it's pretty great. So have you been down it, Judy? Awesome.
And we have a video somewhere of Sarah on it.
Nice. It's fun. So.
It's terrible.
But yeah, so they also have a they have a game that's like a kind of toned down version of paintball. It shoots these giant it's almost like Nerf meets paintball. At the site, it shoots these giant like racquetball balls that they don't really hurt, but that would be included with Adventure on their site. So generally, the 2 most popular, because it takes advantage of the amenities at the camp, are Adventure and Blast. But again, you're welcome to pick any number, any of these that you guys would like. And I would assure you that anything that they end up in, you know, if they get their last choice, it's exceptional what they do there. All of the opportunities that they do top notch. Yes.
So do we just pick one of each one of these?
No,
or-
so you pick 2 total of all the options. So you could do that because they offer them concurrently, if that makes
Okay.
sense. So
you can do like flag football and blast.
correct, exactly. So they offer you might be set. They might be set. So I think Blast is one that they do twice. But like flag football, they overlap in a way that you wouldn't have any issues. So that the majority of them they offer in both slots. But I think a couple of them they only offer in 1 slot. But that's but I mean I wouldn't even think about that and factoring in. You're going to get, you know, it's just based on, it's going to be entirely based on availability. If we get there early enough and if there's, you know, nobody, or if we get there late and there's not a lot of people interested in, say, I don't know, only boys allowed, then, you know, your child will for sure get only boys allowed.
But you
Does that make
encourage
sense?
us to select 4 in case the
In
first
case,
2 are not
correct,
available.
just in case, so,
Okay.
yeah.
So we pick 2 from all of the choices.
So you pick, so rank top 4, if that makes sense. They're
Okay.
going to get 2.
Out of
But-
all of the ones listed.
Correct. They will get
Okay.
2 of them. But again, rank them top 4. And again, the way my saying this, in the past there's always been a forum. And I talked to Taylor at Skycroft today, and it is, I apologize if we have to do this, but it is entirely possible that CentriKid is just running late on getting the form where you put it in yourself. And if that's the case, I will email that to you, but just fill it out the same way that you're filling this out today. And I apologize for the redundancy, but I'd rather redundancy, I'd rather have a chance of redundancy than a chance that we don't have our camps picked out.
Do you want us to write that down tonight though? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
so
I
get it
thought
to
you
us
were
today.
saying-
Yeah, that's fine, me. So, or before you come. I mean, you can bring it back to me later. It's not it's not as urgent as the participant form. So, all right, great. So we've gone through that part. That's kind of one of the biggest. Did you have a question?
Okay. I don't think so.
Okay, sorry. Any questions from what we've been talking about so far?
I see I'm not supposed to set the alarm.
Yes,
No.
correct. We don't set the alarm.
Thanks,
Okay,
Skip.
cool. So, one other thing to bring, that we'll talk about what not to bring as well, but this is based on your child's specific grade. So if your child is that finishing second or third grade, we encourage them to wear bring a yellow t-shirt. The last day of the camp, there's something called Mega Relay. It's chaos in a good way. So it's fun chaos. Those who've been there, it's a good time. So, and they kind of represent their age group. So if your child has just finished second grade or just finished third grade, send them in yellow. They don't have to have this. And if they just finished fourth grade, green is their color. If they just finished fifth grade, blue. And if they just finished sixth grade, red. But I don't think we have any that just finished sixth grade.
What did you say for third grade?
For just finished third grade is yellow. And adults will bring, if you can bring an orange. So orange is the adult color. So
Does it have to be plain?
doesn't necessarily,
Okay.
no,
Like,
it's just
his
for
shirt
team
would
sport.
probably be fine for
Okay,
yellow.
cool.
Yeah.
Because I know I don't have plain yellow or orange.
You
Something
can also
on
go
it,
to,
maybe.
you can go to Michael's and for $5
That's
you
true.
can buy a plain t-shirt.
Yeah.
What color did you say going into sixth grade?
Going into sixth grade is blue.
Oh, wait.
So finishing fifth grade is blue. So, yeah, so it's based on last
So
grade.
third is, finishing third is
Yellow.
Yellow, okay.
Finishing third is yellow. So, all right, and so, yeah. So again, that's not required. It's just, they calculate, it calculates into a score. One group wins, It's one of those, like everybody, whose line is it anyway? The points don't matter and that. What, I don't remember the expression for that show, but I'm sure you guys do. So, what we don't want them to bring. So do not send your child with video game systems. Even, I know like a Nintendo Switch is easy to carry along, please don't do that. Don't send them with water guns. This was one, apparently, CentriKid has had issues with this in the past, where there's been that water guns confused for non-water guns. Whatever, don't bring some water guns. So don't send any kind of prank stuff at all with your child. So again, this probably goes without saying, but sometimes that goes without saying does need to be said. So, so those are kind of the key things not to bring. They are, in terms of cell phones, if your child has a cell phone, I know not all the kids have, I think the minority of them have a cell phone, but they're allowed to have a cell phone with them. We would encourage them only to use it in an emergency, if they needed to reach out to you. I know some of them are at an age where this is their first camp, and they might spend some of their free time, just calling you guys, they're a little nervous. We understand that if they have a cell phone. And honestly, if they don't have a cell phone, I'm glad myself to allow any of the kids to, use my phone to call you guys and check in on you guys. But if we have any issues where they take it out during lesson, if it becomes a distraction, if it becomes anything other than a resource to reach out to you or, reach out to us or whatever, then we might confiscate it for the day, or we'll talk to you if that has to happen. So, but just please, we just don't want everybody horsing around their cell phone the whole week. So, again, at this age, it's not that often, but I know my second grader, my daughter who just finished second grade, told me like a third of the kids in the class have cell phones, which is crazy to me. So, isn't that so? But, oh well. So, but. Anyway, another thing to note, and this is an encouragement to all the kids going, and I want to encourage you guys to talk to your kids on this. I think this is a great week for your kids to spend time with those as they normally don't. You know, I think sometimes these become just more of a way for them to spend time with those that they already do. But I think these kind of camps are such a fantastic way to build relationships with kids that they don't know very well. So I encourage those kids that are in here that are going, I encourage you to hang out with the other kids that you don't normally spend a lot of time with. So then a couple more things. So we're almost done. This is not a really long meeting, but we're welcome to have any questions that you guys have. So there is, in addition to the money spent for Hebrews, you guys can send some money based upon availability. So this is a first come first serve that you can get. They have this thing called a camper package for $35. And it's a little, little book bag thing with like a shirt based on the further, so this would be the color shirt that they need for their grade. It's got, I think, a little water bottle. It's got all kinds of things. I can send you the link for details on it. I literally do not think anybody has ever done this for our group before. And honestly,
I bought it for Katie once.
did you? Okay,
Yes.
so that's one. So yeah, so.
She was
Okay.
nervous about going away,
Let's see.
so I was trying to
Okay,
make her
cool.
feel better.
So
Yeah.
that's one. So literally one that I know of. I talked to Sarah about this. She said it wasn't really a normal thing.
It
so.
was, yeah.
But you guys are welcome. And if you wanted to, that again, it's first come first serve. I could reach out to them in advance, try to reserve some. But it's not a. It seems like even in the past couple of years ago, the value was a little bit better than it is now. But $35 for what's in it is not, oh well, it's your guys' choice. But or you can spend $7 on a photo. So now we do get or purchase photos, group photos that they take. We purchase the regular photo. They do a silly photo as well. But we're just going to get, we will just get you guys a normal one. But if you wanted the silly photo, the silly group photo, then you just have to send $7. We'll make sure you get a copy of the silly photo as well. Any questions on that? All right, so we want to stress, I want to say, I don't want to be sexist, but particularly to those who have boys coming, that because this has been the past, please stress with your children, they need to be on time. They will get a schedule. I will email you the schedule that probably next week, and they need to be on time at every place, especially for the that chapel times for the lessons and everything like that. I've had every single time I've gone. There's been boys I've had to spend time, I've had to be late for things because I'm hunting them down. And the reason why this is even relevant is because the nature of Skycroft, it's a huge camp and it's really safe because it's in the middle of nowhere. And so they allow a lot of, they allow free time after lunch, for example, and we don't allow the kids to go off by themselves, but they can go off in groups of two. And if two kids want to play gaga ball and then two other kids want to play something else, that's fine. They just need to be responsible enough to be where they're supposed to be at the time that they're supposed to be. So please stress this with your kids because we've had issues. I don't think any time I've gone we've had any issues with the girls. So good on the girls. We've always had it, not every boy, we've always had it with some of the boys. So, but I'm sure those who have boys can understand that. I'm sure my son will be like that in that age. So anyway, another thing I want to encourage you guys to understand with this, I love these kind of camps. I think these are fantastic. Honestly, I think CentriKid at Skycroft, I've been to multiple different camps, both as a participant and as a leader. I think CentriKid at Skycroft is like the bee's knees. It is truly excellent what they do. It is so gospel-centered. I mean, it is safe, well done, crazy fun. Not that that's the most important thing, but it is fun. And that being said, I think sometimes we can have kind of a warped perspective on these kind of things that this is like the spiritual mountaintop. But biblically, growth in Christ, I want you to understand this for your kids and your kids to understand this as well, is always progressive. Sanctification, growth in Christ is always progressive. So they're gonna give you guys some good tools, your kids some good tools to grow in Christ. But if we build this up as this is kind of the height of spiritual growth, I think all that's going to happen is like a mountaintop, you crash into the ground. No mountaintop goes forever, right? At least, I know they tried to do that with Babel, but it didn't work out well. So, anyway, then the last thing again to note is there's going to be parent Bible lessons that go along with your kids' Bible lessons. I think they just released this. Again, I'll send you guys an email with this kind of stuff. I strongly encourage you guys to follow along with what your kids are learning so that you guys can discuss it with them for the sake of parental discipleship. You know, we really stress at the church, you know, that parents are the primary disciplers, and I think one of the great ways you guys can do that is just having the confidence of knowing what your kid learned and talking with them on the way back when picking them up, as well as in the weeks ahead. You know, I think this could be a really great resource for that. So I know it's been a lot of information in a short time, but is there any questions you guys have? Questions? Any concerns?
How much money is spending money? Like, how much should I send away?
It's case by case. Most people tend to do like $5 a day. I mean, and that gets you more than. It's not like going to Hershey or whatever, where everything's like $18. You know,
Yeah.
that if you give him $5 a day, he'll probably be able to get a soda and an ice cream or whatever. You know, and speaking of soda, by the way, if you guys have preference of things that you do not want your kid to have, just let us know. Or even medicine. I know that you're going to designate it on these forms, but you know, if you have medicine, make sure that you talk to me as well about it, and we're happy to get, you know, we've even in the past, we've gotten refrigerators to keep specialized medication.